We live in a world that never stops moving. Notifications buzz, screens glow late into the night, and to-do lists grow longer by the day. For many of us, it feels like our bodies may still be running, but our brains are exhausted. Have you ever noticed that no matter how much coffee you drink or how much you try to push yourself, your thoughts still feel foggy, your memory slips, and your focus wanders like a butterfly in the wind? That's the subtle whisper of mental fatigue. And if we don't listen to it, it can grow louder and louder until we find ourselves drained, unmotivated, and disconnected. This topic matters because mental tiredness is not just about feeling sleepy, it's about how your brain is functioning. When your mind is tired, even the simplest tasks feel heavy. Reading a page of a book becomes a struggle. Following a conversation feels like lifting weights. You might even forget where you placed your keys or why you walked into a room. This isn't a sign of weakness, it's your brain's way of asking for help. Science shows us that the brain uses an incredible amount of energy. In fact, though it makes up only about 2% of your body weight, it consumes around 20% of your body's total energy. Think about that for a moment. One tiny organ is using up 1/5 of your daily fuel. Every decision, every memory, every thought you form requires your brain to work like a high-performance machine. Now, imagine never letting that machine rest, never giving it proper fuel, and never allowing it to recharge. Over time, the machine sputters. That's what happens when your brain becomes tired. The modern lifestyle only makes this worse. We are bombarded with constant information, news headlines, social media updates, work emails, family responsibilities. Our brains were never designed to process this much stimulation all at once. In earlier times, our ancestors had plenty of downtime, long walks, quiet evenings, moments of reflection. Today, stillness feels like a luxury. But stillness is not just a luxury, it is a necessity. Without it, our brain circuits keep firing without pause, and eventually they wear down. To make this more relatable, think about how your phone works. When you keep too many apps open, your phone begins to slow down, freeze, or overheat. It's not broken, it's just overloaded. The solution is simple: close the apps, give it time to cool, maybe even plug it in for a recharge. Your brain works the same way. When we multitask, scroll endlessly, and try to force our minds to run at full speed without breaks, our mental apps pile up. And suddenly, the simplest task takes much longer than it should. But here's the good news: your brain is remarkably resilient. Just as your body can regain energy after a good night's rest, your brain can bounce back when given the right kind of care. And that's why this conversation is so important. Because once you understand why your brain feels tired, you can start to take real steps to recharge it. I want you to imagine a scenario. You wake up in the morning, and instead of rushing for your phone, you step outside. The cool air brushes your face. You hear birds, maybe distant voices, or just silence. You breathe deeply, and in that moment, you feel clarity. That's your brain being given space to recharge. Compare that to waking up and immediately diving into emails, notifications, and stressful news. The difference is night and day. One drains you before the day even begins. The other fills you with energy before you even start. In this script, we are going to explore the powerful yet simple ways you can give your brain the rest and fuel it craves. We'll look at how to reset mental fatigue, how to sharpen your memory, and how to build a routine that keeps your brain strong for the long run. You'll see that it doesn't take extreme effort. It takes small, mindful steps repeated daily. So, if your brain feels tired right now, don't worry. By the time we finish, you'll have a clear set of tools to recharge it, starting today. And more importantly, you'll understand that you're not alone. Millions of people feel this way, especially in our modern world. The key is learning how to care for your mind the same way you would care for your body. Because a tired brain doesn't mean a weak brain. It simply means a brain waiting for renewal. So now that we've painted the picture of what a tired brain feels like, the question becomes, how do we recharge it? The first key solution is something so basic, so ordinary, that we often underestimate its power. That solution is sleep, but not just any kind of sleep. I'm talking about deep, restorative rest that allows your brain to fully reset. It might sound obvious at first. We all know that sleep is important. But here's the thing. Most people are not truly giving their brains the kind of rest they need. Studies show that a huge number of adults, especially seniors, are living in a state of chronic sleep deprivation or poor sleep quality. And the result? Their brains never fully recharge. It's like charging your phone for 15 minutes when the battery is at 5%. Sure, It turns on, but it won't last long before it dies again. Your brain works the same way. Without enough sleep, or without the right quality of sleep, your mind remains in survival mode. Let's look at why sleep is so critical. During the day, your brain collects waste products, metabolic leftovers from all the thinking, decision-making, and problem-solving you do. If these waste products build up, they slow down your brain cells, like sand clogging up the gears of a machine. But when you enter deep sleep, your brain's glymphatic system kicks in. This system acts like a nighttime cleaning crew, flushing out toxins and refreshing your neurons. It's almost like sending your brain through a car wash every single night. Without that wash, the dirt accumulates, and your mental clarity fades. Think about the last time you pulled an all-nighter or had a really restless night of sleep. The next day, even simple conversations felt confusing, your memory slipped, and focusing on tasks felt like walking through heavy mud. That's your brain showing you how badly it needed that deep cleaning. Now imagine if you repeated that night after night, your mental performance would sink lower and lower. Unfortunately, this is exactly what many people are experiencing without realizing it. The great news is that improving your sleep doesn't have to be complicated. It's not about buying expensive gadgets or supplements. It's about creating an environment and routine that invites your brain into deep rest. One of the most powerful changes is sticking to a consistent sleep schedule. Going to bed and waking up at the same time each day trains your brain to know when it's time to power down and when it's time to wake up alert. This simple consistency can dramatically improve how refreshed you feel. Another critical piece is light exposure. Your brain has an internal clock, known as your circadian rhythm, which is guided by light and darkness. Exposing yourself to natural light in the morning, by opening the curtains or taking a short walk outside, sends a clear signal to your brain: it's daytime. It's time to be awake. On the flip side, dimming lights in the evening and avoiding the harsh glow of phones and screens helps your brain know it's time to rest. Without this rhythm, your brain gets confused and stays in a half-awake, half-asleep state that leaves you feeling tired no matter how many hours you lie in bed. Let me make this relatable with a story. Imagine two people. Let's call them Sam and Mary. Sam goes to bed at a different time every night, scrolling on his phone until his eyes finally close. He wakes up groggy, needing 2 cups of coffee just to get started. Mary, on the other hand, sets a bedtime routine. She dims the lights, drinks a calming tea, and reads a book instead of scrolling. She wakes up at the same time each day and often starts her morning with sunlight on her porch. Even if they both technically sleep 7 hours, Mary wakes up refreshed while Sam drags himself through the day. The difference isn't in the number of hours, it's in the quality of sleep. For seniors in particular, improving sleep is one of the best gifts you can give your brain. A tired brain makes you forgetful, anxious, and more vulnerable to stress. But a well-rested brain sharpens memory, improves mood, and even protects against long-term cognitive decline. Sleep isn't just about feeling good the next day, it's about preserving your brain health for years to come. Now, I know it's not always easy. Some people struggle with insomnia, restless nights, or the habit of worrying in bed. But small, consistent steps can make a huge difference. Try setting a wind-down routine. Turn off screens an hour before bed, play calming music, stretch lightly, or practice slow breathing. Over time, your brain begins to associate these signals with rest, and it becomes easier to slip into deep sleep. So, if your brain feels tired, the first step is clear: give it the sleep it deserves. Think of sleep as the ultimate mental recharge station, one that restores your clarity, focus, and emotional balance. When you start prioritizing sleep, not as an afterthought, but as a non-negotiable part of your day, you'll notice a transformation. Your mornings feel lighter, your memory sharper, and your stress easier to manage. And here's the exciting part: sleep is just the beginning. Once your brain starts getting true rest, you create a strong foundation for other powerful recharging strategies. In the next block, we'll explore the second key solution, something you can use during the day, in real time, to reset your brain and bring back mental energy even when life feels overwhelming. So now that we've seen how sleep recharges the brain overnight, what about those times during the day when your mind feels drained, even if you slept well? Maybe you're halfway through a task, staring at the screen, and your thoughts just stop. That's where our second key solution comes in: mindful breaks, intentional pauses during the day that reset your mental energy. Most people think of rest as something that happens only when you're in bed at night. But your brain actually needs mini recharges throughout the day, just like your phone needs quick boosts of battery if it's been running multiple apps at once. These mindful breaks aren't wasted time. They're essential maintenance for your brain. Without them, mental fatigue builds up like a pressure cooker. With them, your focus sharpens, your mood lifts, and your productivity skyrockets. Let's look at why these pauses work. Your brain operates in two main modes: focus mode and diffuse mode. Focus mode is when you're actively working, concentrating, solving problems. Diffuse mode is when your mind relaxes, wanders, and makes creative connections. Think of it like a flashlight versus a lantern. The flashlight is great for directing energy on one specific spot, but it can't illuminate the whole room. The lantern, on the other hand, spreads light everywhere. Your brain needs both. Without breaks, you get stuck in flashlight mode, and eventually, the beam dims. But when you take mindful breaks, you allow the lantern mode to activate, sparking creativity and refreshing your brain. This is why you often come up with your best ideas in the shower, during a walk, or while cooking, moments when your mind is relaxed and not forcing itself to grind. Neuroscientists have even found that these breaks allow your brain's default mode network to activate, which helps process memories and connect new information. In other words, when you give your brain space, it doesn't shut down, it actually works smarter. So, what does a mindful break look like? It doesn't mean scrolling through social media or watching random videos. In fact, those things usually add more mental clutter. Instead, a mindful break is about quieting stimulation. It could be a 5-minute breathing exercise, a short walk outside, stretching your body, or even just closing your eyes and noticing your breath. These simple actions signal to your brain, it's safe, it's time to reset. And in that calm, your mental batteries recharge. Here's a relatable example. Imagine you're cooking dinner and suddenly the smoke alarm goes off. The sound is loud, stressful, and impossible to ignore. Your brain under constant stimulation, emails, notifications, deadlines, feels like it's living under a non-stop alarm. A mindful break is like pressing the reset button on that alarm, silencing the noise, and letting you breathe again. Let me share a quick story. A woman named Laura, who worked long hours at a job, always felt exhausted by midday. She thought the answer was more caffeine, so she kept reaching for coffee. But no matter how much she drank, she stayed tired. Finally, she tried something new. Every hour, she would stand up, stretch, and walk outside for 5 minutes. She didn't scroll her phone, she just breathed in fresh air. Within a week, her energy completely shifted. She didn't feel as drained, her focus lasted longer, and she found herself smiling more. She realized that her brain didn't need more caffeine, it needed more moments of rest. For seniors, mindful breaks are even more powerful. The brain, as it ages, naturally processes information a little slower. That doesn't mean weaker, it means it requires more recovery time between efforts. By building in short pauses during the day, seniors can prevent overwhelm, improve memory retention, and even reduce anxiety. A simple breathing exercise before meals, or a quiet sit in the garden after reading, becomes more than a pause, it becomes a tool for mental resilience. And here's the encouraging part. These breaks don't take away from your productivity, they enhance it. Research shows that people who step away from tasks for short, intentional breaks actually complete them faster and with better quality. It's the opposite of what we've been taught. Many people believe, if I just push harder and work longer, I'll get more done. But in reality, the brain performs best in cycles of effort and rest. Think of athletes, they don't train non-stop, they build rest into their routines to perform at peak levels. Your brain deserves the same respect. So, the next time your mind feels tired during the day, don't force it to keep grinding. Instead, step away. Breathe. Move. Sit in silence. It may feel small, but it's like plugging your brain into a fast charger. With just a few minutes, your clarity returns, your patience grows, and your creativity comes alive. As we continue, remember this. Sleep restores your brain overnight, but mindful breaks restore it throughout the day. They're the mini pit stops that keep you moving forward without burning out. And in our final block, we'll explore the third and perhaps most empowering solution, one that doesn't just recharge your brain in the moment, but strengthens it long-term, giving you hope, confidence, and independence for years to come. We've seen how sleep gives your brain deep nightly repair, and how mindful breaks refresh your energy throughout the day. Now let's move to the third solution, the one that doesn't just recharge your brain in the moment, but actually strengthens it over time. That solution is mental exercise and lifelong learning. Think of your brain as a living muscle. Just like muscles in your body grow stronger when you use them, your brain becomes sharper, faster, and more resilient when you challenge it with new activities. The opposite is also true. When your brain isn't stimulated, it can grow dull and fatigued more easily. That's why mental exercise is a powerful long-term strategy for preventing burnout and keeping your mind vibrant, even as you age. Science backs this up. Studies show that people who regularly engage in mentally stimulating activities, like reading, solving puzzles, learning a new language, or even picking up a musical instrument, have lower rates of cognitive decline. Their brains form new neural connections, strengthening pathways that improve memory, focus, and creativity. This process, called neuroplasticity, is your brain's incredible ability to adapt and grow at any age. It's like upgrading your brain's operating system with every new skill you learn. But here's the beautiful part. You don't have to dive into complex subjects or spend hours studying. Even small, enjoyable activities count. Reading a few pages of a book each night, challenging yourself with a crossword puzzle, playing memory games with your grandchildren, or joining a community class can all create powerful benefits. The key is consistency, feeding your brain little doses of challenge on a regular basis. Let me give you a story to bring this to life. There was a retired teacher named John who felt his memory slipping. He often forgot appointments and struggled to recall names. Instead of giving up, John decided to try something new. He joined a local chess club. At first, the games felt overwhelming. But as he practiced, he noticed something surprising. Not only was his chess improving, but his memory in daily life also sharpened. He recalled grocery lists without writing them down. He felt more confident in conversations. His brain was recharging, not just because he was resting, but because he was actively challenging it. For seniors especially, this kind of mental exercise is vital. It's not about chasing perfection or becoming an expert. It's about keeping curiosity alive. When you learn something new, no matter how small, you're telling your brain, stay awake, stay growing, stay alive. That spark of growth keeps mental fatigue at bay and builds resilience against stress and forgetfulness. Another powerful form of mental exercise is social connection. Engaging in conversations, sharing stories, and laughing with friends stimulates multiple parts of the brain at once. It combines memory, language, and emotional processing, all of which strengthen your mental capacity. Loneliness, on the other hand, can drain the brain, leaving it sluggish and tired. So by nurturing relationships, you're also nurturing your mind. Now, let's tie everything together. Imagine a life where you give your brain the sleep it needs every night, sprinkle your days with mindful breaks, and regularly challenge your mind with stimulating activities. What happens? Your brain doesn't just recharge, it thrives. You wake up with clarity, glide through tasks with focus, and feel confident in your ability to remember, decide, and create. More importantly, you carry hope. You know that even as years pass, your brain can stay strong, adaptable, and full of life. And here's the message I want you to hold on to. Independence and strength aren't only about the body. They're also about the mind. A brain that is rested, refreshed, and challenged gives you freedom. The freedom to keep doing what you love, to keep connecting with the people who matter, and to keep enjoying life fully. So, if your brain feels tired, don't despair. You now hold 3 powerful keys. Sleep gives you the deep nightly reset. Mindful breaks recharge you throughout the day. And mental exercise builds long-term resilience. Together, these 3 steps create a cycle of renewal that keeps your brain energized for the present and protected for the future. You don't need to do everything at once. Start with 1 step. Maybe tonight you prioritize a calming bedtime routine. Tomorrow, you add in a 5-minute breathing break. Next week, you open that book you've been meaning to read. Each small step adds up, and before long, you'll notice the fog lifting, the clarity returning, and the joy of a mind that feels alive again. Remember, your brain is not broken. It's simply asking for care. And when you give it that care, it rewards you with focus, memory, and energy that ripple into every part of your life. So, take this as your invitation. Choose rest. Choose breaks. Choose growth. Your brain is ready to recharge, and your future self will thank you for it.